The war in the Middle East has stretched beyond the borders of Israel. Hundreds of drones have been launched by Iran at Israel in what's been called a retaliatory attack. Iran had warned Israel that it would be punished for its attack on its consulate in Syria 2 weeks ago. Prime Minister Christopher Luxon, in a statement this morning, has condemned what he's calling the shocking and illegal attacks. Robert Patman is the Director of International Affairs at the University of Otago. He joins me now this morning. Good morning, Robert.
Good morning, Daniel.
Were you surprised by this attack from Iran, and were you surprised by the type of the attack?
Firstly, Iran did say they would retaliate after the Israeli attack, which you just alluded to, on the 1st of April, on Iranian diplomatic premises in Damascus. I think the surprise was that many of us expected Iran's retaliation to come in the shape of its allies or proxies in the region, Hezbollah, Houthis, etc. But it turned out to be a direct attack. And I think that is conveying the point to some degree that Israel's action, which, by the way, the Americans were not briefed on. The Biden administration confirmed recently that it was not given advance warning of the Israeli attack on the diplomatic premises of Iran in Damascus. Now, this is a really significant development. That's illegal under international law, and it creates a worrying precedent. So given the fact that most under the Vienna Convention, diplomatic premises are considered to be the territory of the state in question, and that applies to all states, then Iran interpreted the attack, which killed 6 people, including 3 senior officials, as an attack on its direct national sovereignty, and it's responded in this way now with massive drone attack.
Now, Iran warns of a much larger response. If Israel responds, do you think Israel will retaliate? And in what way?
That's an interesting one, because the Biden administration said they will not support a retaliation against Iran of this nature that the Netanyahu government's talking about. I don't know how much leverage the Biden administration will have there. They certainly have got leverage overall because they're the major arms provider. But America and its allies have just assisted Israel to successfully weather this massive drone attack. I think there was very few casualties. One person was slightly injured, that's all, which was a pretty Herculean effort given the intensity of the attack. But the Iranians had telegraphed it, so there was a bit of theatre here, Daniel. The Iranians wanted to save face. They were disappointed the international community, and particularly the United States, didn't rebuke Israel for that attack on diplomatic premises, and I don't think our own government said anything either. And we have to be very careful here, because we seem to be witnessing the rapid erosion of its international norms and rules.
So do you think the US's role in this is only just escalating what we're at now?
No, I think the Americans are they do not want Israel, and they made it quite clear, they do not want this morphing into a regional war between Iran and Israel, and the United States is working hard behind the scenes to prevent that happening. But there is a contradiction here. Unconditional support for Israel is fueling regional discontent. And Iran has been provided an opportunity by America's support for Israel in Gaza to advance its own agenda. It's expressing solidarity with the Palestinians through its proxies, but also is pushing forward itself as a counter to Israel and the United States in the Middle East region.
Do you think New Zealand should step in and assist like the UK and the US is, or should it remain on the sidelines?
No, I think that, what struck me is the United States, the UK, and other actors arming. We're not arming, as far as I know, Israel, but those actors have been quite selective in their condemnations. They didn't condemn or rebuke Israel for the attack on diplomatic premises in Damascus, which is a breach of the Vienna Convention, as far as I can see, in 1961. That's a serious development, and they remained silent on that, and now they've got widespread condemnation for Iran's response. 2 wrongs don't make a right. I don't like the fact that Iran responded in this way, which is provocative and escalatory, but we have to look at the circumstances which generated it. And in short, in a sense, Israel gave Iran some pretext to act in the way that it did, and that's unfortunate in a very tense situation.
This morning, Christopher Luxon, the Prime Minister, and Winston Peters, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, have issued a statement both condemning Iran's shocking and illegal strikes against Israel. What's your view on that?
Well, just to reiterate, I would like, given the fact New Zealand is critically dependent on the international rules-based order, that's an order which depends on principles and laws rather than power. It's very important that we respect long-standing conventions, such as diplomatic premises being off limits as far as military activities are concerned. And I think it's very important. We trade with more than 100 countries around the world. We do not want to see the erosion of those principles. We don't stand to gain for them. It's important that we express our voice. We have a principled independent foreign policy. Our interests do not always exactly coincide with the United States and the UK. And so we need to be quite clear where we stand in this.
Robert Patman, as always, thank you. Good to talk to you this morning.
Thank you.